Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
You are watching 7 at 7 from the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Good evening. You're watching 7 minutes of nonstop news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I'm Carrie Roper. Thanks so much for joining us for Monday, February 1st. Let's get to our top story tonight, sponsored by Carnegie Heights. A new COVID-19 second dose clinic is opening tomorrow at the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority Central Hall. James Schaefer has a first look at the clinic and details on the notification process.
For those seeking a second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, you will have to get into the line that corresponds with your first vaccine, Moderna or Pfizer. Once that's completed, Southern Nevada Health District Senior Community Health Nurse Sarah Lugo walked us through the steps at the Las Vegas Convention Center facility.
Once they get passed along here, they'll go ahead and wave them over. They can walk right over to their station. The registrar will walk over and they'll get a prepared vaccine for the client. And then our registrar will come back and hand off the prepared dose and the immunization record to the vaccinator. So she'll write down the time number on there. She'll have her put it on her sleeve there so that they can see it. And then we'll direct her over here to the observation area.
Tillman Fertitta's Golden Nugget and Landry's Inc. will be going public once again through a $6.6 billion deal. Reporter Bailey Schultz tells us more.
So Fertitta Entertainment is the parent company of Golden Nugget and Landry's and has assets like the Golden Nugget branded casinos and different restaurant brands like Joe's Crab Shack and the Rainforest Cafe. The company is set to go public by merging with a blank check company called Fast Acquisition Corporation. And basically, this deal gives Fertitta access to capital and a stronger balance sheet.
In more news, Henderson police said a fatal stabbing at the Gallery at Sunset Mall parking lot Sunday involved a private security officer. The officer stabbed a shoplifting suspect after being threatened with a knife. The stabbing victim was then rushed to a local hospital where he died. Police are investigating to determine if criminal charges are forthcoming. In your business news, sponsored by the Vegas Chamber, the erratic trading in shares of companies like GameStop that sent markets scrambling last week appears to have migrated to commodities. Renee Summerara has more. Renee?
Carrie, it's commodities like silver that are sending its prices surging to an 8-year high. Silver futures jumped almost 12% on Monday to over $30 per ounce following strong gains over the weekend. That excitement has spread to other companies that mine precious metals, especially silver. On Twitter, hashtag Silver Squeeze began to trend thanks to the Wall Street Bets, the online army of Reddit traders who caused heavy damage to hedge funds and a stunning reversal of financial power on Wall Street. For more on how silver is favoring in the markets and how some Nevadans are joining the battle, log on to lvrj.com. Carrie?
Now let's take a look at our weather forecast. Weather isn't going to be as exciting as it was last week, but we will see temperatures rise just a bit in the valley. The forecasted high for today is about 60 degrees with lows in the mid-30s. For the rest of your week, we'll see an uptick in the temperatures to the mid-60s for your high until a light cool down takes us back to the highs in the mid-50s. Lows in the mid to upper 30s.
Sports, sponsored by Scenic Brewing Company. Hi there, I'm Cassie SOTO with this sports update. The Golden Knights will return to the ice this week after general manager Kelly McCrimmon said the team has had 4 days of negative tests.
And our expectation is that we will continue this week as scheduled with our games against Los Angeles on the weekend. The team will resume practice on Wednesday. We'll practice on Wednesday and Thursday before our game on Friday.
Now here's your sports betting update. It's officially Super Bowl week, and a William Hill bettor made a $500,000 wager Monday at Caesars Palace on the Chiefs over the Buccaneers. The $520,000 straight bet was placed on Kansas City minus 3 points at minus 120. The wager will pay over $433,000 if the Chiefs beat the Bucs by more than 3 points.
The 81st session of the Nevada Legislature kicked off today. Review-Journal Capitol Bureau Chief Colton Lockhead fills us in.
The Nevada Legislature got off to a slow start on Monday, kicking off the 120-day lawmaking session for the 81st session in the state's history. And with the COVID-19 pandemic still raging, took on a very different look than most sessions in the past. The building is still closed to the public. Only essential staff members, no lobbyists, just a handful of members of the press, a handful of bills being introduced on the floor, but there was no committee hearings. Assembly Speaker Jason Frierson said about halfway through the day that this was going to be the expected approach going forward, that they are going to be taking a slow approach, and they're still trying to work out, as he said, some of the glitches involved with trying to have some of the Zoom hearings, the Microsoft Teams, all the various virtual and digital technologies that they're going to be using.
In your health news, a recent survey shows that American Indians and Native Alaskans are more likely to get the COVID-19 vaccines despite the hurdles. The Review Journal's Gary Martin explains.
After I spoke with Rulon Pete with the Las Vegas Indian Center, who said there was still major distrust with Native peoples and government-run programs because of a long history of relations between the government and tribes, as well as a lack of information on the after effects, side effects of the vaccines, and also access.
In your lifestyle news, sponsored by Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 49 years ago on this date, the old Las Vegas Mormon Fort State Historic Park was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Videographer Michael Quine gives us a look into history.
49 years ago, on February 1st, 1972, the oldest structure in Las Vegas was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The old Las Vegas Mormon Fort stands near the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Washington Avenue. The one-story adobe building is the last remnant of the first permanent structure built in the Las Vegas Valley by Mormon colonizers in 1855. The settlers encountered various difficulties such as a failed mine, crops that didn't prosper, and squabbling among the leaders. The Mormon settlement only lasted 2 years, and the colony disbanded in 1857. Built of adobe bricks made on site and dried in the desert sun, the original fort measured 150 feet on all 4 sides, with bastions on the northwest and southwest corners. The old Las Vegas Mormon Fort State Historic Park provides glimpses of life on the frontier half a century before the town of Las Vegas began.
In your entertainment news, country star Garth Brooks' show at Allegiant Stadium has been moved once again. Brooks' concert was originally scheduled for February 27th, and now it's scheduled for July 10th. All tickets purchased for the original dates will be honored for the July concert. This is set to be the first live music show at Allegiant Stadium. Well, that's all for today's 7 at 7 p.m. from the Las Vegas Review Journal. I'm Carrie Roper. Thanks for joining us. And remember, get every bit of local news you need in 7 minutes with 7 at 7 from LVRJ.com. And we hope you'll join us again tomorrow morning for 7 at 7 a.m. Have a great night.
Review Journal Studio, sponsored by attorney Adam Kuttner. Get the maximum settlement as quickly as possible. This 7 at 7 update is sponsored by Pro Group Management. You are watching 7 at 7 from the Las Vegas Review Journal.